Right, so requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking more news, this time from Lebanon. Lebanon has now reported an Israeli strike which has targeted a car in the Sidon area in the southern part of the country. Lebanese authorities have condemned the attack, calling it a violation of national sovereignty, and have warned that such actions could escalate regional hostilities. Remember, since the November 2024 ceasefire in Lebanon, the IDF have reported killing more than 330 Hezbollah operatives in a series of airstrikes and ground operations. The IDF has stated that hundreds of Hezbollah targets have been hit and over 1,000 raids have been conducted in southern Lebanon in response to ceasefire violations by the terror group. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has told U.S. officials that his government is actively tackling money laundering and the financing of terrorism following Washington sanctions on 3 Hezbollah members. The sanctioned trio is accused of moving tens of millions of dollars from Iran through cash-based money exchange businesses. A U.S. delegation led by Senior Counterterrorism Director Sebastian Gorka visited Beirut to coordinate efforts to cut off Iran-backed Hezbollah funding and support Lebanon's drive to disarm the group. Now, according to the U.S. Treasury, since January 2025, Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps have transferred over $1 billion to Hezbollah, mostly via money exchanges. Aoun has told the delegation that Lebanon strictly enforces measures to prevent financial crimes and punishes violations severely. Deputy Director John Hurley emphasized that Lebanon can only become free, secure and prosperous if Hezbollah is fully disarmed and cut off from Iranian control. Officials, meanwhile, have discussed partnering to stop Iran's financial flow and create a safer Lebanon. Still with us on the broadcast is Dr. Wael Awad. There's a lot to unpack over here. Multiple pieces of information coming in. I'd like to address the strikes that have taken place at the outset. We've seen a barrage of Israeli strikes take place despite the ceasefire deal that was reached last year itself. The ceasefire deal called for the disarmament of Hezbollah. It also called for the withdrawal of Israeli forces from southern Lebanon. Both have not been achieved up until date. What do you think is the future course of action? We've seen the Americans trying to exercise some sort of and pressurize the Lebanese government in order to push forward with the first of the clauses at the very least.
Well, let me put it for you straightforward. This is not a terror organization in Lebanon that we've been talked in the foreign media. I mean, the narrative is just to tarnish the image of the resistance forces, which is namely the Hezbollah, which is taking the lead in Lebanon in fighting against Israeli occupation and have been in the side with the Hamas and with the Palestinian during the crisis and during the war. So Israel have taken a full advantage of the UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which they have signed the truce and they have agreed for the ceasefire and that there should be dismantling of Hezbollah according to the UN Security Council. And there was all the decision taking. So now Lebanon for the last 1 year have been, or the last 6 months have been abiding by the resolution in terms and the true spirit, even the truce with the Israeli. Even the Prime Minister and the President of Lebanon have said it in many occasions that this is the situation. But we have more than 2,500 violations of Israelis against this truce. There is 1,500 attack on the territories. They have already demolished many villages in the south of Lebanon, and they are putting conditions for the Lebanon. It's not only the dismantling of Hezbollah, which they don't share it with you on the media. The point they are raising here, they don't want any presence of any Lebanese in the southern villages of Lebanon. They wanted to occupy that part of Lebanon, turn it into no military zone, no human being zone, because they wanted to reach to the Litani River. As much as they have annexed part of the Syrian Golan and also the Syrian the Jabal al-Sheikh, we call it Harmon Mountain, which is the source of the water in that region. Similarly, they are doing in Lebanon. So it's not the dismantling. This is just an eyewash because Israel wanted to reoccupy the south of Lebanon. That is the ambition of the Israelis, to have the full control on the water supply on this region so they can blackmail these countries in the future and they can force them to be expelled or migrate from those parts of the world where Israel can take full control of the Middle East as the Great Israel, which they have now openly saying it, whether
Yes.
Prime Minister Netanyahu saying it, whether he's Smotrich or Ben Gvir, all of them are saying in the same manner, in the same tone, that the greater of Israel existed from Sinai Peninsula to Euphrates, which means Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Sinai Peninsula, and 1/3 of Saudi Arabia. If that is the plan where they are having, then I think Lebanon will head for a more fighting with the Israelis. As Lebanese army said, we are ready to dismantle if Israel also abide by the resolution and abide by the agreement. But
Yes.
if not, it is just violation. I don't see any near future to happen. Look what's happening in Palestine. Actually, the whole ceasefire of the Gaza Strip was approached when American giving undeclared commitment to Israel to continue its annexation of this West Bank and also to take on Hezbollah in Lebanon. So I think Lebanon is heading for more trouble with Israeli aggression, preparing for a war against Lebanon also.
Indeed, to add to what you've stated, in fact, there was a statement that had come out from a senior Lebanese army leader, one of the generals, who had stated that this is a bid by Israel to deliberately delay the deployment of the Lebanese army to southern Lebanon. At the same time, we are seeing a very interesting statement that was passed by Tom Barak, U.S. Special Envoy to Syria, who is of Lebanese origin. He recently branded the Lebanese government as a failed government. This, of course, is in light of the fact that the ceasefire conditions have not been met. What do you make of his statements and this rhetoric from the United States?
Well, look, at the United States now want to justify Israel attacking any Arab country. Israel have attacked till so far 10 capitals regionally. Last was the attack on Doha, where they have attacked, even if it is an American, custodian or an American under American custody is Qatar. The problem is that the American envoy himself does not believe that these Arab countries have seriously been his countries. He's declaring them as a states created by the colonial power, Sykes-Picot, 100 years ago, and then now they have to. Israel have the upper hand of extending their hand anywhere they want. So I think the Lebanese government, if we remember, if you go throughout the history, and your viewers should also learn about it, that the civil war in Lebanon in the 70s, it was the Syrian army who intervened along with the Arab League forces from the Arab countries to stop the civil war in Lebanon. And Taif agreement in Saudi Arabia was agreed that they have shared power. So it is the most sectarian democracy in the world is called Lebanon, where you will have the president is a Maronite Christian, where the prime minister will be a Sunni, where the head of the parliament is a Shia, and so on and so forth. That's how they divide the system and the ministerial cabinet on their country. But still, to say that they enjoy democracy, they enjoy their presence, even Hezbollah have a party, have a representative, have a minister in the government. All this have been doing. Why? Because that is the way they have been surviving. Now, if he speaks that it is a failed state because they wanted this government only to dismantle Hezbollah, nothing else, because Israel giving him the dictation, America, as our late President Hafez al-Assad, when he met with Bill Clinton, and he gave him a letter from Israel, he said, since when America is a postman for Israel? Israel is dictating the term for the United States, what they want from Lebanon. So this envoy, Kushner, Woodcock, all of them are nothing but a stooge of the Israeli government, what they wanted to implement in the region. And that is what we are facing, unfortunately.
Indeed, and there seems to be a deadlock as far as this is concerned. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Wael, for taking out time and, of course, presenting your analysis to us on NewsX World. Viewers, due to paucity of time, it's a wrap on Gulf today. We will continue to track these developments very, very closely. In the meantime, we're dipping into a quick short break.